So I stepped out here and I was like, what is all this smell? Why is it so smoky smelling? Look at all these birds. Don't know if you can see them, but they're all over the place. Look at them. Over here. They're not that afraid. Anyway, I was wondering, why is it smell of smoke really strong? And then I realized, hey, this fire's been burning all night, really. So it's probably the reason why all the pollutants in the air this morning, because I was like, there's a hell of a lot of smoke around. I was like, why is that? And I was like, because of that. So I'll just step away from it. Kiara, no bird. Kiara! No bird. No running after birds. Got lots of food. No. Hey! Kiara, no bird. I knew that dog could catch a bird. I'm wondering if she did end up catching a little bird that was just not fast enough, but they're very much enjoying the seed. So with that drama, I've lost my train of thought. Have no idea what I was talking about. I'll just keep following the dog just in case she manages to catch a bird. There's more and more birds on the property, and it's like a lot of them like to go on the ground, and some of them are, you just think, some of them are just going to be a little too slow one day. Usually the juveniles, the younger birds, are the ones that'll be too slow. Anyway, I slept in again today. Tomorrow's going to be a different story. I have to get up a bit early to do an interview, but I don't really have high hopes for the interview itself. It says on the ad it's actually a hybrid position, so unless I want to move, I could move for training. I just have to live at a different house for a few weeks, but after that, I don't know. I thought I would take a look at housing once again, just in case I have the opportunity for this position and want to go into a rental or something, but I don't know. There are other job positions I would prefer over it. I just haven't been contacted yet. In a couple of weeks I might get another job offer, but yeah. A lot of times though my prospects are shortened because I don't really have any references, so the ones that I have on my file are like the ones that requested that I not put them on my resume for reference because it's been a while since I worked for them. And I said, well, that's a fair request, but if I do that, I don't have references, so because I don't have anyone else who can give me a reference, like literally no one. My relatives don't want to give me a reference, and no one else, so I'd basically be sending off a resume with just a blank space in under the heading reference. So I just think, well, I just put the old ones there and just keep them there. I don't know. I think that's usually one point of sourness in regards to referees. I think that's one of my weakest points when I'm looking for work. It's the aspect of references. So, like, you are told, if you have nothing, just put like documents where you've studied and someone's given you a good comment or something. That can be in replacement of references. And I'm like, so I've got a few documents I can attach, but it's I think that's one of my skimpy points. So I think that's what you can do in replacement if you really don't have anyone to give you a reference. So because I know references, I still think there should be like an online system to have someone write down their points, like have a few questions and have them answered, and then that be stored on some cloud-based system, so that you can send off a link to potential employers and then have them read through what other employers have said. I know there's like this big nitty-gritty of, if you're a real employee, you'll happily give anyone a reference, but but when you realize after a while, the employer doesn't want to anymore, and it's usually because they're being contacted over and over again to be asked like the same or similar questions. You think a job searcher can look for like 10, 20 jobs in a week. If they get 10, 20 inquiries and ask the same or similar questions 10 or 20 times a week, they're not going to want to do it forever. And so that's what a lot of people find. I mean, the chauvinistic educants say, no, that's not true. Every manager who's allowed their name to be put down as reference is happy to give a reference. But really, in reality, it's like they get sick of it. They say, don't put me on your reference anymore. I don't want to be your reference. And then and they give up just because of the way that they're answering the same questions over and over again for a certain individual, especially. And it's like that dog's, and so that's what happens in real life, and the dog's trying to get out. And so I think there should be a cloud-based systems where it can have a good range of questions. I mean, all potential employers want to know is a little bit about how an employee was at work, and you can get like a more honest opinion and stuff. I mean, I think it could even be like something to go with a cancellation of someone's employment, and have it is something that employers can use to update after an employee's ended, or can be done by request or something. And then you have that on file stored as solid evidence of how you're seen by other employers who, directly during the time when you were working for them. It's like, I think that's really what the world needs a little bit. I think it's really it could be very helpful, especially for people who don't have like a supportive family and they don't want to vouch for their other family members, or for people who don't get jobs for a long time and they've spent years, say, on the dole, and their past employer will not ever give them a reference because it's been a long time. So you know, and blah blah blah, and any other circumstance that may come up. And I think that would be such a good thing, but no one's put it up. And I know that, like, in government or educants, say, oh, no, this is crap, because part of an employer's job is to do references and blah blah blah. They'll have that tangled up stuff to say this is the reason why no one should have access to something like that. And it's really, I think it's really just the missing link, really. So when you got all this internet-based stuff, I don't see why that can't be invented. Just so that you can just provide employers with links to, comments of your employment on a cloud-based access panel or whatever it's called. I'm like, I really don't see why that can't be done. But and it can even reach out to real estate a little bit, I guess, if you want to know how someone's rented or been seen as by their landlords and things. It's like you can develop a similar thing even for real estate, so people can get have that proof of evidence of how they were seen as. I mean, that might be a bit far-fetched. I mean, I'm sure real estate won't want to do that, but it could even branch off to something that a real estate could use, so that people have that evidence of how they were seen as when they were renting previously and stuff. And it's like, that would be a good thing for real estate too. But yeah, like I said, no one's really thought of that, but those couple of things are just what the world needs. Anyway, I've been doing nothing. I'm doing absolutely nothing today. After I come from my walk, I'm just going to be what am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm editing my story. I'm going online. Right now, got on the computer. I'm staying online for ages. I'm staying online for a few hours, and then it's like, ugh. But my brains are fizzled. I have no brains left. I literally don't do anything anymore. I don't hardly ever go for walks that much. I mean, I go for a walk around the yard a couple of times a day, but when I'm not walking around the yard, I don't go shopping anymore. I don't go to the stores. I'm down on my luck. I'm sick of trading. If you ever want to do trading, you just don't do it unless you got a heap of money, because I'm drowning. Instead of collecting my money, it's disappearing on this stupid trading board. And usually I can spend $250 a month, but sometimes, it's more. Like this week, in the past week, I spent $500. In the past few weeks, I spent a couple $250 more, and so this month is like, a lot of money that I could have saved, and I'm just looking at this stupid expensive thing, and I'm like thinking, I'm just thinking of giving up on it. Because it's just like, I should have a few $1,000s more, and I don't, because I've been trading. And even though I quickly got $11,000 in my trading, it's like, it's just sinking all my extra money. And so instead of having a few $1,000s, I have $11,000 on a trading thing. And I'm like, and I'm being told, you have to put in like $7,000 more, and I'm like, bullshit. But it's just like, it just constantly sinks your money. I mean, I'm already spending heaps of money on Lotto, and that's only reduced because a lot of the times I'm winning a few times a month in lotto, so I'm not always spending as much because I sometimes win and then that decreases the amount that I spend. But this trading stuff is just eating all my money, and I'm like going, why did I do this again? Because I'm not saving money, I'm not earning money, I'm not saving money, and I'm just about come to the precipice where I'm going to have to put a few $1,000s into my active account because because literally I'm not earning enough to afford that kind of stuff. If I had a job, it'd be another hand, but because I'm on the waiting for a job, it's like, while I'm not working, it's just like I can't afford it. And I just noticed that I have used a lot of money that I could have saved. I'm like, what am I really doing to myself? Am I doing myself some sort of investment, or am I just destroying all my savings, all the money I should be saving? And I'm like, so I'm kind of asking myself, what is the point to all this? It's supposed to be like encouraging me to have a little bit of worth, away from my savings account. But then I realized my savings account's not growing because I'm spending all my money on this dumb trading, and I'm like feeling sorry for myself because I'm just not earning enough money to not have that impact. I'm like, oh. So anyway, so now that it's been like 20 minutes, I'm gonna go inside and start computer work, editing my story.